Howdy y'all, Goose here, and today is October 9th. Gonna start this one with actually Sunday's price action. So yesterday, futures opened with a big gap down, and I mean sizably big. This is a like 50 point drop almost. Not quite, but roughly. So yeah, 5 points on SPY if you're used to that. But yeah, huge drop down. When I saw this, my first thought is just stay out. I don't normally trade anything on Sundays, so I was just sort of curious, where was it going to settle? And if you look on the larger time frame, price actually did settle in a pretty predictable place, I guess you could say. So way back over here in June, we had some resistance. This is the daily chart on the left side of the screen. That daily resistance pretty much held off of this quick drop here, and we leveled out, found support, and that also was a weekly key level for me. So I was looking at this, and once I saw this holding pretty nicely, price action started to become boring and pretty standard for a Sunday. I actually did something strange, and this is again still on the simulator for me, but nonetheless, I'm treating my simulator trading like the real thing. I should be getting my funded account either tomorrow or the day after, I've been told. So I'd like to think I would have taken this trade nonetheless, but just with a small size. So only, one maybe MES contract, perhaps two, but still was looking at this level, saw the weekly level, and saw price action holding right here where we've seen previous support, resistance that could be turned support. And yeah, I went ahead and grabbed those contracts. I want to say it was somewhere here. I don't have it marked off on here, but yeah, I think I bought somewhere around 4306 or 7. And I just let these ride overnight. My stop was, I'll go ahead and put this up here for visibility, but let's say I entered like, it was like somewhere here when things started to get really boring. And I remember I had a slightly bigger loss than, or stop loss than usual, because if I was going to leave these overnight, I really wanted that support to be, it would have to break thoroughly in order to get stopped out. But because of that, I also had my profit fairly high up. I was actually targeting the resistance from Friday. So I think I had it like something like this. Roughly around 80 ticks, I want to say, just again, 2R ratio. And yeah, I let that roll. I let that roll overnight. Didn't get take profit, but didn't get stopped out either. In the Euro session, we had a dip, but not quite to our stop loss. I ended up waking up. Just drag this over. Yeah, I woke up, roughly 6 a.m. Pacific time. I was in the green. I think, yeah, I had just started to see that it was, we were moving back up, kind of to this pre-market high. I remember thinking, I'll close it out there, but at the same time, I kind of wanted to see what the open did. So I did get take profit on this, but again, it was just a pretty small, small trade. It was just one standard ES contract that I had, for 80 ticks. So not like massive gains or anything, but kind of cool to just wake up and have that move hold. I just used basic supply and demand principles to make that trade, and it worked out pretty nice. Glad that the Euro session ended up holding. But yeah, that was kind of how I started the day. I also identified some pre-market support and resistance where I have this box right here. So that resistance, we ended up breaking through it and holding as the market opened. We bounced right off of that. So at this point, I'm flat. I was just watching, didn't see this break, which is encouraging to go long at some point on a retest. So right here, I was just trying to see maybe we would retest it again, but at the same time, I was really looking at these candles to make sure that things looked bullish. And when we did come down here, I mean, the engulfing candle right here was not a bullish sign. So I was actually thinking, okay, this means that we're not gonna climb today. We're just gonna sink below here, maybe retest this level, and yeah, fall back down. So I was actually looking at going short But again, the candles didn't really show that much weakness. This small green candle here is actually fairly bullish, pretty big wick in relation to the body size, and same thing here. Another like wick only doji-like candle, and then engulfed by a bullish candle. So as we're climbing out of here back into this sort of battleground, none of this really screamed short. And so really the only trade that maybe made sense was the initial bounce, the test of this support level, and I didn't take it, but yeah, you definitely could have. There wasn't really much else for a while, and the next trade I took was actually OTE, and I usually nail my OTEs. I don't mislabel or misread them, but today I kind of did. So essentially what I saw on the 3-minute, which is usually what I use for those trades, is we make new highs for the day. We're coming back down. I had this level right here where the orange arrow is, as always. That was my market structure shift level, and I have that there because we need, we have at least 2 red candles coming down, followed by the new high of day. So to me, I always use minimum 2, opposite direction candles as the kind of retracement along the extension leg right here. So the extension would be this whole move. This is just a minor retracement, but that is what I would consider the strong low that made that high. Then the high right here shows a quick wick back, so that kind of screams grabbing liquidity. We have a big red candle. We have this is all good, but I think what I mislabeled was, or misread, is that we didn't have displacement all the way through the break structure. So we get right to the break structure level, and I think we technically closed just under it. So it is technically a break structure, but not a very good one because the next candle is right away engulfed right by the green candle. So that's a pretty bullish sign. And I wasn't in the trade yet. I was looking at this. I had marked out a fair value gap, which actually gets tapped into by that green candle. So that's another sign that, hey, this trade isn't quite as strong because we've already touched into, you can see the wick was almost halfway into that fair value gap. So there wasn't really a draw to wait for price to come up here. Even as we move down, it's like it's already sort of tapped in, but you wouldn't have gotten in here. I mean, because again, this displacement wasn't that great. So I was, I just saw some mixed signals. I don't know if it was because I'm still on the simulator, but I really wanted an entry because, I don't know, I was just kind of itching to make a trade, and I think that was another mistake. But again, there were plenty of signals here to just sit on the sidelines. And as we come down, we see some wick candles showing strength. Another, really almost engulfing green candle here. More weak bearish candles. This candle right here, super bullish, right? The shooting star candle was, I think, a really good sign to just not be in a trade. But I don't know. I had my limit orders at this time already, and I just sort of was chilling, watching it, waiting for entry. I really thought this high day would hold because of the gap fill. But yeah, once we filled that gap, I really thought that would hold as the high of day. And I think I was just sort of forcing this OTE setup with that in the back of my head. And I ignored, this bullish engulfing candle, the fact that we didn't break with displacement through the market structure shift level, and that we had these, really bullish candles down here, including the super bullish shooting star with a huge wick. So those were just kind of mistakes on my end, and I'm, journaling about them and hoping to not make them again going forward. I was on a massive win streak, and I think that I knew a loss was coming. It's kind of funny that it ended up coming from a mistake rather than just a normal loss from, playing the odds. But it's okay. I'm still on the simulator, so it's a lot easier to swallow. At the same time, I do realize, it is still a loss, and I misread, so I'm going to be keeping that in mind as I go into the rest of the week. But yeah, I had my stop just above the high of day here, so, just watched as it pushed through. This chart really on the 5-minute is pretty, it's pretty normal for a bullish chart. I mean, you had levels. This level I really thought would hold out the open, so it's kind of funny that I guess it did break through there to then push back up. But other than that, resistance that was here at the 43.34 area ended up becoming support as we broke high of day and fell back, right? So that could have been a trade right there. I mean, had I not been so fixated on this OTE entry and saw signs that this wasn't good, I might have seen that opportunity and caught a long move to, I mean, if we were here, I don't think I would have played this, but if I did, the next level of liquidity on my higher time frame would have been this weekly key level, which was essentially the high day, this 43.81 area. We actually got really close to. We didn't quite get to, but I would have at least had the stop, stops to break even and let it ride, which looks like we're making a move up in the after hours right now. So yeah, that was sort of the big red trade on the day. It kind of evened out this opening trade from yesterday, which made it not as significant, but still we're leaving behind this fair value gap, pretty big fair value gap on the, I mean, both on the 3-minute and the 5-minute. I've sort of combined these two gaps, but so curious if we're gonna, I mean, I would think we fill this at some point either overnight or tomorrow at the open, but big week. We have a lot of data coming up, so I know there's a lot of traders that are just shying away from trading this week. I don't know. That's not quite how I'm looking at it. It kind of feels exciting to me, and getting the live account as well. Going to be cautious, but at the same time, I'm excited to look for really good setups. So I'm glad I made these mistakes here on the simulator and before I get the keys to the real account. But going to be interesting to see how the rest of this week goes. I've also, if you've noticed, changed the way my higher time frame key levels are. So I've removed all my daily just yellow lines. I think it was too messy. Now I have the orange weeklies, the red monthlies, and these dashed areas, which are unmitigated areas of support and resistance. So pretty much on the, I think I use the 4-hour, or no, I use the 1 hour to make these. There are areas on the 1 hour that were right before a big move and that we haven't yet mitigated. So we're quite a ways away from the next one on both on the high side and the low side. So we're kind of just in the middle, and we have some levels around us, but now that we're getting through this sort of, I want to say no man's land, 43.50 to 43.80 area, which I've outlined since late June, has sort of been a bit of a battleground, and we've held it at times. We've pushed through and then rejected off of it, and now we're crossing back through again. So what I guess, if I had to guess, just to make it a hypothesis, I do see us coming back above this, which we almost did today. But yeah, tomorrow we don't have any major data, so I kind of expect us to pop up above this. The bond market wasn't open today, being a bank holiday, so whatever the yields show on that at the open are going to reflect in the stock market, and I have a feeling that those yields are going to drop, and then we're going to see the market make a push up, and I would look for longs on the retest of this 43.81 level. So that's sort of what I'm looking at tomorrow. Climb out of this, maybe grab a retest. Hopefully I get it on the live account, but if not, I'll sit patient and wait for the right setup. So thanks again for joining, guys, and hope you had a good trading day if you traded. And if not, again, stay cautious this week. Got a lot going on, a lot of data, but try to make at least a trade on a simulator account. I wouldn't just sit on the sidelines the whole week. I don't know. That something just strikes me as odd. I mean, I get it's more dangerous, but yeah, see if you can grab a trade, see if you can find something, and I'll be posting these recaps for the rest of the week as well. So hope you join me there, and yeah, as always, trade longs, trade strong. I'll see you guys on the next one.